a little bit of oil, some crystallized seeds, some empowered seeds, makes 350 RF per tick. Let's take a look at how to automate it. Hey! How's it going? And welcome back to a series about Rails. In the last video we celebrated hitting 500 subscribers. Thank you so much for being interested enough to click that subscribe button and watch more of these videos. And of course, if you're watching this for the first time, or you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button to see more videos of this type of stuff. In the last actual episode of MyRail, we worked on the canola farms, and we've got a steady supply of canola coming in, but of course now we have to turn that canola into something we can use for power, which is a little more stronger than the canola oil itself. So, let's get started. Okay, so we're here just next to Lakeview, and the canola farms are all the way past the power station, the existing power station over there, but I haven't run any tracks over to our new building yet, because I'm going to leave that for a future episode. And what I've actually done is I've picked this building here, which I think should have enough levels for us to have part of processing each floor, and if we need to, we can then extend it out further, so it can then make more. But for now, we're just going to focus on the basics. So what I've done is I've cleaned out the building already, and we head down to the ground floor down here. You can see there's just a couple of creative bins and a logistics sorter, really basic for now. And what we'll do though is I'm thinking on each floor, so we'll leave that as storage. This floor here, we're going to make the canola come in, and probably let's run our canola along the back wall here. That should be enough for now. We will stick... Actually, let's put this through the middle, because these guys require power, don't they? Yeah, they do. So what we'll do, instead of doing that, let's move... take all those guys out. We'll run a power cable first down the bottom. Along here. And then we can run a canola press there. Actually, I might leave that one there. Like that. Might need to add some more in later, but we'll just add another one like that. And we can probably run some power up here. And run another row along the top here. Yeah, that should be fine for now. So put one there, one there, one there. And then we'll put a transporter in the middle here. And we'll set these guys to be dark blue, which is, I believe, what I added the canola as? No, dark green actually would be what I want. Yeah, so dark green. So that will be our canola. Now we can set these to actually to push in. Let's do that anyway, just to make sure. I don't think it will matter, but we'll do it anyway. And we'll finish connecting this guy up. I'll probably run it right along to the edge here. And then along there, so it connects up. And hopefully it'll instantly start putting canola in there. Hopefully. Or it won't. Got power. Maybe it's dark blue. Okay, so it's dark blue. I had it right the first time. Okay, so we'll put this one in dark blue as well. And you can hear the sort of clicking into action, which is really annoying. You can't turn that down. So these guys will start making canola, so we need to then pipe that out. We do that with our mechanical pipes. We'll just run that down here. Cool. And what I'll do is I'm going to put that into a tank. So let's put a tank in just over here somewhere. So we need a intake. These are just pressure pipe tanks. I like these tanks because they're nice. They should be nice and fast with a server. So we'll put a pressure. It's going to come along there. We'll then put a controller next to it. Indicator up the side. Like that. And then the rest of this will just be tank. Oops. Will just be tank. Except for probably this one here, which will run through there to take us to the roof. And that will be a outlet for the canola oil. Cool. And of course we'll just finish this guy off. Canola pipe going this way, join up to our tank. There you go. Already got 28,000 canola, so that's not too bad. And as I said, we may need to add more of these in depending on what happens, but for now we can leave it like this. Now next thing we're going to do is we'll head up to the next level. Once again, one floor per thing. We'll run a tank off here, and I believe I've got to set that to be output. Perfect. And we'll just grab that again and fill that up. And on this level, we're going to add in the fermenters. Now I don't believe fermenters require power. No, just require the oil. So let's put, I might actually run these one back a little bit. Let's leave them up, because we might need to use that for some reason. So maybe along the back here. I keep doing that. Let's leave that like that. Okay, one up like that, and then along this way. And we'll put a fermenter there. Should get the canola oil perfect. And it makes oil. Awesome. So we'll stick those into there. Now, if you haven't used these before, let's just grab a oil generator. And so, by default, the canola generates 40 RF per tick. It's not too bad if we've got a large collection of oil generators. You'd see it's filling up the RF quite quickly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another tank in here so we can store the oil here. So just so we've got a buffer. And I'll get ready for the next thing. And I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've put the tanks in and I've extended out the amount of barrels and presses that we've got. I've brought the pipe up to this level. And what we need to do now is place fluid, which of course a fluid placer from Actually Additions will do quite nicely. We're also going to collect the fluid underneath it. If I can do this quickly enough. Like that, perfect. And it will collect it up and stick it to a pipe. We're going to quickly grab the output of that. And put it along here. And let's place that on an oil generator. And you will now see that it's making 100 RF. So we went from 25 to 100. And it fills up a lot faster, which is cool. I'll fix that later. But of course, we can do better than that. Let's just quickly also place a lever. Oh, I know what I need to do. A torch. So that we can put it into pulse mode. And that way it will only pick it up if we give it a redstone signal, which is a lot more easier to do than trying to pick up at the moment. So if we do that, right, we place it, oops, I don't want to be in there. If we place in a crystallized canola seed, it will convert it into another form of liquid. Let's hit that again. Oh, I think that's got stuff in it now. It's not going to be helpful. Aha! We'll just quickly pick up. Was that quick enough? No, it is. So that should have picked up a little bit of liquid, I would hope. We'll just stick that into our oil generator, which I moved. Place that into there with a chemical pipe. And now with crystallized oil, which is what you get, it makes 200 RF per tick. And you can see that the graph fills up a lot quicker. But of course, we can still do better than that. So if we if we grab ourselves one of those seeds again, because of course we've already used the previous one, we'll grab a whole bunch of them. Place one of those into there, like that. That makes our crystallized. And we then put one of these empowered canola seeds in. It turns into the next one. And once again, we will send that into an oil generator. So that should be in the pipe now. Let's grab the pipe there and our oil generator there. And now you can see with empowered oil, it's really fast at 350 RF per tick. So just one oil generator does 350. Imagine what a whole bank of them would be. So the problem of course now is we need to make the two different seeds. So we'll come back to this momentarily. Let's just get rid of that so it doesn't waste stuff. We'll go up to the top level here. And up here, we're going to need to make our stuff. Let's get rid of that. We're going to need an atomic reconstructor. I'll probably put it about, let's put it here. And it needs power. So actually, let's put it there so we can run our power line along here. And that should immediately start firing stuff off. And converting anything in its path. Which, all we need to do is drop some seeds, which we actually don't have at the moment. Canola seeds. We drop a canola seed down there. It converts it into what we want. But of course, we don't want to do it all the time, so we're going to put it into pulse mode. Grab ourselves a dropper. So now, once again, actually additions. We're going to place that here. And that one there is also set to deactivation, which is fine, because we only want it to drop it when we tell it to. So if we put in a whole bunch of this stuff, it drops it, which is cool. And drops it one at a time. Let's just take that out though, it's a bit sluggish. So the plan is though, that we want this guy to drop something, then this guy to fire, and then something else to pick it up. So we have ranged collectors. And what this guy will do is pick up something within a certain range. It doesn't require power, but we are going to tell it to pick up the crystallized thing. So these of course are whitelist, so it'll always pick up a crystallized thing, but nothing else. So if we drop down, I don't know, our lever here, it won't pick it up. But if we dropped it down the crystallized, it'll pick it up, store it in its inventory. How's that for cool? Now, the tricky bit here is we want to automate this so it's not always running. And so we only ever run this guy when there's something to do. Now to do that, we're going to use a mod I haven't used for a little while called Integrated Dynamics. Now to do it, we're going to need to know what's above us. So we need to know what the entity is that's there. Just get rid of some of this extra stuff we've got on us. Down there as well. In fact, we seem to be duplicating our items, which is really weird. And we'll need to have a redstone writer, which I think is that one there, because it's always there. And I'm also going to grab a inventory reader for later use. We will need a whole bunch of the variable cards and a variable store, plus a multi-programmer. Now, what we're actually going to do is, it's actually a really simple recipe. It's one of those things that you think, oh, not this mod. But no, it's actually really simple. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put down an inventory reader here. And we will need some cables. Now I'm thinking about it. Cables. I don't know why it's not putting in my inventory slots. Cable there. We'll put a entity reader on top. So when something falls on top, so it gets dropped out of here, it'll be read and placed into here. You can see we've got our various bits. We're specifically after this piece here, which is a list of all the entities on top. So if I just go and let's just drop all these redstone torches on top. For example, I'll just stand back so I don't pick them up. You can see it's got a redstone torch. And it's got a dot 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 because it's a list of multiple items. So if we've got a list, we want to say not empty, right? Takes a list, so we put our list into here. Make another variable card, and now we've got a boolean to say, hey, there's something sitting on top, fire. Over here, over there, we'll come back to that. We need to put another cable, which disappeared over to there. Put a cable in there with a inventory writer, a redstone writer on top. And in this one, we'll put the not empty condition, which complains about the variable ID 72. Which of course is why we have our variable store, which we're going to put here, and we can put our list into there, and now of course if there's anything on top it'll fire. So if we would drop that on there, it'll now fire. Isn't that cool? Now the other thing we want to do, of course that'll pick it up, do all that stuff. The other thing we want to do though is we want to just double check that we haven't got too many things backed up. So to do that, we're going to put another cable down under here and a cable there. On that one we're going to put a redstone writer, and on this one is where we're going to put our inventory reader, which we grabbed before. And this is just so we don't overload or lag out the whole computer. That was unexpected. Did that actually place it? Yes, I just can't quite read it. Can't quite access it. There we go. Right, so in here we have the inventory full. So this is the status of that inventory. And there should be one here that says inventory count. Currently, of course, it says 1 because we've got one item in there it's checking for. But if we were to put another item in, let's go into here and let's put some more of those in. It should now say 65 because 1 and 64 equals 65. Go into there, scroll down, inventory count 65. Cool. Take that. We'll put that there. We're going to go back into our magical logic program. Go integer. we're going to say if there is more than 128. So 2 stacks. We'll stick that in there. That now becomes 128. And now we'll go our greater than sign. Inventory count. Which of course is the amount in the collector. Is greater than the 128. And output that to another variable. And then that is going to go into here, if I can reach it. Oh, not the dropper. On there. Once again, just as a bit of redstone. And what that's saying is, when there's 128 in here, turn this guy off. And that's what the deactivation mode's for. Of course, it won't do anything while we don't have the cards in there. So we're going to put our greater than symbol into there. Our integer of 128. And our inventory into there. And now, of course, if there's more than 128 items, it won't do anything. So let's give that a test. Let's do that. So that's more than 128. We should be able to see if we can hover over here a little bit. Oh. Did I... Yep, sorry. Apparently I didn't put that in there. I thought I had. That goes into there. You can see it's now true because there's over 128 items in there. If we take out our extras that we had into there, go back into there, it's now false, which means this guy is active. Cool. Now, we've done that piece. What we're going to do is we're going to run a transporter along here. And just place it like that. We're going to need to give this guy a colour of dark blue. No, dark green. Because of course we want it to fill up with canola seeds. And you'll see it's firing away. And we need to stand away from it. I need to put it in glass or something to stop it. When it gets high enough, it'll stop. Perfect. Let me just encase this in glass and make it a bit more safer so we don't have to constantly come near it. And I'll be back in a second. Okay, so next up we need to make the empowered seeds, canola seeds, which is basically using an empower and 4 display stands. So we'll put a display stand there, 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 and here. And the empower will go in the middle, like that. We're going to need to place in some... Actually, I'm going to take that out for a second. We'll place in transporter there. I'm going to actually I might just take out that one. I don't want to take the rest of them out. The reason why I'm doing it like this will become very clear in a moment. So we need to set all these to blue, because we want the seeds to go into these. Place that back into there as well. Blue, blue, blue. And then this one over here, which we're going to put there, needs to be the colour we chose upstairs, which was a dark aqua. And that way what will happen is that the normal seeds will go into these ones, the crystallized will go in the middle, and of course we will also need on the other side of here, one to take off, which we're going to make dark red. Set this guy to a pull, and this guy to a push. And that way, of course, it should automatically take out what we're after. So let's reconnect that up and see what happens. Transporter. Okay, so there's the... Apparently dark blue is the seeds. Not what I wanted. Let's go dark green. those all to dark green. And of course we then need to take that off. And that off. Now to put seeds, and cool, look at that, it works. And it's ready to do the next one as well. And of course we don't take that off at the moment because there's nowhere for it to go. But what we're going to do now, we've got the 3 things that we need. So if we go down another level down into here, where our little puddle of water is, we didn't bring... Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to place on both sides of here. We'll grab ourselves a dropper. One on each side, one there. And one there. And a transporter. One needs to be for the crystallized seeds. And of course the other one for the empowered, which is dark red. And then connect those guys. That's not going to connect those, that's just fluid, so that's cool. We'll run that along here, like that. You can hear everything working as it's pulling stuff across. Of course, we've got one small problem we need to fix. It's just constantly dropping. So let's turn that on to pulse and that on to pulse. Pick those up again. Cool. Oh, no, not that. Put those back in there. And of course that's going to fill up, which is fine. We don't mind if it fill up. This guy here, hopefully, will fill up with stuff. Set the dark. Ah, that's not going to work because of that. I'm going to have to pull that back one. Because it doesn't send stuff for a different colour. Okay, there's 3. Looks like that's working. Nice. Okay, so now we've got that piece, we actually want to automate this a little bit more, so we're going to come back to the old integrated dynamics. Let's get rid of these guys. This is where the slightly harder part is, because we're going to need to do a little more magic here. So we're going to need some redstone riders and some cabling. And I'm thinking we'll place the cables, one there, or not. Ah, I'm faster than you. And one there. We'll also need to detect what's in there, which will be probably this guy. What we can do, if we put that there for now, it should take out the liquid. Put that there, take that out so I can replace its liquid, that's fine. That there. And did I put the redstone in? No, I did not. So we need to put a redstone rider in there. And a redstone rider in there. Because of course we need to be able to send redstone signals to those. Same with that guy down there. So we'll probably need to just break through the floor here. So we'll put one of those there with a redstone rider on it. And then the other thing we'll need is to have a reader. A block reader, yep. Because of course this is technically a block. It's not liquid, even though there is a fluid reader on here. It's not a fluid, it's a block. So place that onto there, like that, and we can open that up, and you can see it has block dimension, blah 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 blah, block oil. Right, so we want to get each of our block types, so we grab our block oil, we'll just grab a couple more seeds, doink and doink. Drop that into there. It should now read as crystallized oil. Cool. No. Nope, don't want to do that. What we actually need to do is we need to grab what's a materializer. Which is one of these guys. And what this will do is convert what is currently seen in this into a more constant value. So we can put this, let's say, here. Just need to be able to access this guy. We'll go into here. Put this up here, and it should say it's crystallized oil. We'll put that in there, and now this becomes permanently crystallized oil. We can leave that in there. We'll then make this into empowered, and of course this will now be empowered. But if we copy that, that'll stay as crystallized. This becomes empowered. Cool. And we need to grab that oil back, so let's take that out, put that back in. Oil. Like that. And now we can do the magic, which is an if condition, or an equals condition. So if this value equals that value, so we're going to say, we actually need to grab this guy back. And I might grab a labeler as well, just so we can see what all these things are called easily. So we'll just go into here and label them. So the first one here is going to be our input card. Input. This one here is the crystallized oil. Crystal oil. This one's going to be the empowered oil. Crystal oil. And this one here is the oil itself. Oil. The idea of naming them is that you'll be able to quickly see when we set up our rules what card is what. So we go into here now, we can go equals. So click on that. We want to say if the input is crystal oil, place that into there as a new card, take it out, and you can see now under variable IDs that it's input and crystal oil, whereas normally it would just be 77, 79. So we've done crystal oil. Let's also do empowered oil. Take that one out of there, place it there. We actually need to put that there. And we'll do the same thing with oil. Okay, so I think we've got all of them there. So we can then put, not the materializer, we actually don't need the materializer anymore. We wanted a variable store though. Oh, what did they? We'll need to put our oil, crystal oil, and empowered oil in, plus our input. And that'll then make, and then these will work. And of course, what we need to do now is place them on the appropriate locations. So this guy here is outputting the crystal. So if it's crystal, we need it. We only output it if it's currently oil. Should rename these cards so they're a little quicker to notice. If it's oil. So if it's oil, it'll drop a seed. Perfect. Over here, this one here is outputting the empowered. So we only want to do this if it's crystal, which is this one. And that should drop it and make it empowered. Awesome. And then of course our final one, which is the one that takes it, I think that's it, will be that one there. And now of course it sucks up, drops another one, and look at that. That process works. Now there is one small problem to this, and it's if we run out of items, you'll see it just stops. It won't do anything else, even though there's stuff in there. The only way to get it re-triggered would be to take out one of these and start again. So we need to do one last thing. But what we're going to do is just grab the input from here. I'm going to quickly put a lever over there, just to stop that guy placing something. Place that down there, take it out. So now the materializer, of course, which is this guy, what's that? It's ear. So we're just going to grab an ear block. And we can then turn that guy back off. So we can place his stuff. And you'll see it's just stopped. It's not doing anything because the redstone signals are already in place. So, what we're now going to do though, is grab another copy of this. Go into here, grab our block, which of course is oil. So now we're going to have two of these guys. And we need a redstone reader. I don't think I've got a redstone reader on me, so let's go reader. Redstone reader. And we can place this guy anywhere we want, it doesn't really matter. Just somewhere where we can access it. And if you grab a card from here, what we're looking for is the redstone clock. So you can see right down there it changes to true. Put that into there. And I'm just going to decrease this a little bit so it goes a bit faster. So the 10. Right. And you can change it anytime, you can change it after you place this in. It's not a big problem. Go into the programmer. Look for choice. If the redstone signal is on, which is only on for a split second, we want to output air block. Otherwise, we want to output our variable card, which is the new one, and then the input, which of course we previously had, is going to be updated to now be the output of this. And that way we don't have to change all the other recipes to work with it. We'll take that down to there. We will then put all of these in here. So our input, which of course is one of those, we're going to put our air block up there. Put our redstone card in there for the randomness of the redstone card. Doesn't matter where you put them in the box, I'm just putting them here so it looks pretty. Put that into there, and now it's just start placing again. So even if it runs out of items, it'll still keep placing and keeping things up to date. Okay, so that gives us the empowered oil, which we can use to generate a lot of RF. And when we put that into our oil generators in the next episode, we're going to get about 350 RF per tick, which will be really cool just for one generator. A whole bunch of those, that'd be awesome. The other thing we're going to do, of course, in that episode is do the transporting of the canola seeds and the liquid somewhere. And I've got a really cool open computers and railcraft idea, so don't miss that episode. But what I'm going to do though is I'm going to end this episode here. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment down below telling me what you enjoyed, or any tips, suggestions, or anything like that. If you're new to the channel and like open computers, railcraft, automation, hit that subscribe button. But otherwise, have a great day, and see ya!